welcome back to my channel. So in my last video, I had mentioned the call about diving deeper with everybody on here and going into deeper topics, into more of shadow aspects of self and kind of the hidden side of spirituality. And by hidden, I mean it's really not the part that a lot of people enjoy talking about. It's the part that you don't actually realize until you are going through it. And that is really the whole process of, you know, shadow work, purging the darkness, the duality of the dark to the light. I am calling it the shadow work series because in essence, this whole series that I'm going to be doing is meant to help you with that, or maybe give you a different perspective and how to approach it, or if anything, just give you comfort in knowing that other people have gone through the same kind of shadowy dips, ups and downs. So really what we're going to be doing is we are going to be diving into the shadow self, or the shadow ego here. And really what that is it's that hidden, oftentimes suppressed part of you that carries, you know, all your hurt, all your pain, all your past experiences that, you know, maybe caused harm for you in some way, or dramatically shifted your worldview into doing things that really just kept you safe the rest of your life, rather than trust or move out of your comfort zone. I also really want to remind all of those who are watching, as a preface to this video, everything that I'm going to mention here is stemming from my own experiences, from either what I have actually gone through myself, what I've seen other people go through, what I have picked up in my journey or learned from others. So I really do want to say, you know, take what resonates, leave the rest. And if it's resonating but clashing with one of your own experiences, then maybe see if there is some kind of shift in perspective that may need to happen there. Just throwing it out there. So without further ado, let's hop right in. So today we're going to be talking about dreams, but more so specifically about nightmares. I can sum up my nightmares in 3 different ways: disruptive, distortive, and scary. And I'll be breaking down these aspects throughout the video. So let's start off with the why. Why do we get nightmares? Why do we get these nasty dreams sometimes that you wake up and kind of just disturb you the rest of the day, or like you can't get your mind off of it the rest of the day? Nightmares are, fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way you decide to look at it, they are important. They are an important aspect to your dream life, to, you know, your dream self. And that is because they get you to pay attention. They get you to pay attention because they are a reflection of what's going on inside of you. In fact, they're almost always going to be reflections of your energetic state given the current moment. You know, even if it's replaying a memory, or like a dream, you know, if a dream is replaying a memory from the past, it's always going to have some kind of connection of something that's going on either within or around you in that present time and space. Because we all know time is relative. You know, it's just, think of it as a big giant circle. Your past is your present is your future. There's always going to be some kind of connection going on from your dreams to your current and present reality. Okay, this is actually kind of funny. There's like some guy with a loudspeaker walking around, and I just think it is so fitting. Like, he just happens to be here as I'm doing this video, because it's like your dreams are trying to get your attention, and there's a guy with a loudspeaker who, you know, loudspeakers get your attention. Like, do you see the connection that I'm drawing here? Anyways, your nightmares are going to play out your projections of your unhealed wounds, your ego, and your internal shadows. All of these facets are going to put on ugly masks in your dreams to scare you, because what you're afraid of is what you're going to pay attention to. Now, by masks, I mean, like, well, they can literally put on masks in your dreams if you take it the literal way, or figuratively, as in, you know, they can dress up as people, places, or events in your past, present, or future. It doesn't necessarily have to be realistic. It can be like a fantasy world from a storybook or a movie. What I'm saying is there's a vast amount of things that your shadows can take the face of. That is why this part of your journey is always going to be super personal to you. So let's get into understanding and decoding your nightmares, and we're going to go into something that is literally the bread and butter of what I teach about on this channel. Although really, it's the bread and butter of your own intuition. That is your frame of reference. Since I am coming back to this again because it truly is just so foundational in getting an understanding of, you know, when you are in the dark and you're struggling to find some kind of solid footing or some kind of clear picture of what the heck is trying to come out of you, your frame of reference is where you can begin to break it down piece by piece and really then put together the message and the picture of what you're going through. What is it trying to show you? Where is the work needing to be done? Because let's be real, when you're in the dark and when you're going through it, your intuition is going to be so fuzzy. You're not going to know left from right. You're going to keep going in circles. And I'm sure that we have all been there. I have definitely been there, where I literally run myself into the ground going in circles because I'm trying to go at the full message all at once instead of going piece by piece, where then it becomes a little bit easier to get to the top. It becomes a little bit easier to get out of the hole. All right, back to frame of reference. That is using your own symbology versus Googling something. Now, the internet is a wonderful resource, and this is not throwing shade. Haha, get it? This is not throwing shade on Google, but you can literally Google, the meaning of seeing cat in a dream and get 10 different articles that are saying 10 completely different things. Now, this is not inherently wrong. Remember, there is no wrong way of doing your own shadow work. Doing it this way only makes it just a little bit more challenging to find, which message, which meaning resonates for you when you haven't fully established your own understanding for what that symbol means for you yet. An example of this, fairly recently, I had a friend come up to me asking for help with a dream, and in their dream, they were being chased by a bear or some kind of wild animal. I'm pretty sure it was a bear. And, they asked me for help. They're like, can you please help me understand? It was just so confusing. And so the first thing that I asked, and the first thing that I always ask when someone comes to me about dreams is, what does bear mean to you? What does bear mean to you? What qualities, what characteristics, what do you associate bear with? Do you consider them protective? Do you consider them wild? Do they remind you of your home life, like a teddy bear? Are they powerful? And from there I go, what aspect of your life do you feel that this is representing? What aspect do you feel that the bear is a symbol of in your life? So, it kind of just goes into questioning, like, where do you feel in your life that you're being overprotected? Where do you feel that your life is wild or out of control? If you said it reminds you of your family, then where is your home life kind of chasing you, where you feel like you have to run away? Or if you said power or powerful, that bears are powerful, where do you feel that you are running away from your power? These are all just different aspects of, how I begin to approach this kind of situation, and really it plays into how I approach all the messages in my life. Like, what is this representing for me? So let me just share a little bit with you about my frame of reference. Okay, when I neglect on taking care of my shadows, when I am neglecting on checking in what's going on with me internally, usually this happens if I just get really busy for, even a week. I usually don't go longer than like a couple of weeks. If I neglect myself for a month, then I'm really in trouble. My dreams will begin to show me insects, and not like butterflies or dragonflies or like the cutesy kind, right? No, I get really creepy crawly, like silverfish, earwig, centipede, like weird things, bugs that I don't necessarily like. Or if it's something that I've really been ignoring, like purposefully or, even unconsciously, then I will dream of wasps, and I will dream that I'm getting stung by them in my dream, and like as I'm getting stung is when I'll wake up. But in general, insects show up when we're not keeping clean, right? Or they show up through the cracks. If there's like a crack somewhere, they're gonna show up in your house. They're gonna be able to get in. So it took me some time to understand this, because I thought that, oh God, I don't know. It took me a really long time to figure out, like, why do I keep dreaming of these creepy freaking bugs at, every so often. It would just happen periodically, and it would just freak me out. I would wake up, and then I would like spritz my room with some lavender mist or something and just be like, please go away. But in reality, what it was is the bugs were showing up as a sign for me that, hey, you gotta take a look at, where are they coming from? Follow the insects, and they'll show you to the source where they're coming from, the crack that they're coming out of, and they'll lead you to the source of the work. Now, keep in mind, your dreams are going to show you a distorted version of what is. So remember the ugly masks that we talked about earlier? Distortion in dreams is going to show up differently depending on, you know, what the dream is, what the situation is, what you're going through in your life, and, you know, the symbology behind what you're seeing in your dream. There are always generally some kind of things happening that are coming out of, that are being distorted by fear, guilt, anger, grief. The reason I feel this is important to bring up is because, you know, I always get asked, like, how do I know if this is just a nightmare or just a message? And let me tell you, not every dream is going to be prophetic. Not every dream is going to be a message directly from spirit. Some dreams are going to be your ego trying to talk to you. Some dreams are going to be your shadows sending you the message and showing you, hey, this part, this cycle, this pattern, you're still holding on to it. That's why it's key in learning how to trust your intuition so that you can begin to grow into being able to discern which is which. So I want to talk about the disruptive factor of dreams, which means that yes, they can be reoccurring. It can be the same nightmare happening over and over, or it can be a nightmare with the same energy happening over and over. So it's like you'll have different dreams, but the underlying energy or message is the same. Like it'll just show up differently every time. The thing about this is that it can also manifest into insomnia. Like, let me tell you, there was a time period where I was just getting dream after dream, like nightmare after nightmare, every single night, multiple times a night, where I, at some point, just kept the lights on all night and just did not sleep because I was like basically avoiding it. But, you know, like I didn't know. I just didn't get it. I just thought I was being tortured for no reason. There's always a reason, guys. There's always a reason. You know, because I didn't realize it was really trying to show me where the work was. So instead of actually paying attention and trying to understand what I was seeing, I completely bypassed it and avoided it and was like, well, I'm just not going to sleep. Now, before we get into the part where I talk about the work, here's a pro tip if you are experiencing this. Even now, even to this day, during the nights where I am like waking up from really dark and heavy and creepy dreams, this is what I do so that I can try to get some sleep the rest of the night. This is going to be really individual, so this might work for you, this might not work for you, but it's something that you can try. I'll wake up. I'll generally remember what I was dreaming of and will be left with kind of like an icky feeling. And I will just say to myself, okay, I see you. I acknowledge you. I acknowledge that there is some kind of shadow that is asking to be seen right now, and I'm letting you know that I see you, and I'm letting you know that I understand I have to release you. Usually this works. Usually this works because what do our shadows want? They want acknowledgement, right? Like the more you run away, the louder that they get. So this is not to say that it's going to get rid of your dreams and your nightmares forever. What it does is it just, you know, I do it, and then the rest of the night I'm able to sleep fine, and I'm not able, you know, I don't wake up after that. Like for me anyways, when I do that, I realize like, okay, I have to do some kind of releasing ceremony or some kind of cleansing, some kind of journaling, just to check in with myself pretty soon afterwards. Usually I do it like the following night or the following like 2 days. If I put it off for too long, I'll start getting the nightmares again. So it's important that you are able to follow through with your work. You got to be able to follow up with what you say you're going to do. You know, if you acknowledge your shadows and say, yeah, okay, I'm going to do the work to see you, to release you, to see like what you know, what's coming out of there. And then if you don't do it, it's just going to keep pestering you again because you didn't actually follow through and do the work. Now this is the part where doing the work comes in. And again, like we are going to get more into like different techniques, different tactics, but the work is something that is going to be super personal to you, and it's going to look different from person to person. Because, you know, as much as the spiritual journey is a discovery of the divine and a discovery of a connection, you know, that is just being connected to something beyond yourself, being connected to something greater, it is also a discovery of yourself, and yourself includes both the light and the dark aspects of you. As it goes, the more that you are able to understand your own shadows, the more power you are able to derive from those areas, the more power you are able to cultivate from within, from within yourself, and the more freedom that you are able to create around you externally. You know, it really is such a domino effect. When you heal one part of yourself, it just blossoms into something totally different. It's able to shift your entire world around. Hopefully, embracing your shadows, you know, this is a topic I've seen kind of on an upward trend in the spiritual community, which makes me really happy to see. And hopefully it genuinely is an upward trend and not just a frequency I'm tuned into, although it could be. Hopefully this is the direction that the collective is going in, because, you know, as I've noticed, we are headed into some shadowy times where we are all transmuting the dark. It's not all necessarily bad. And when you begin to learn to ride with the shadows and ride with the dark and understand what they're trying to show you, it really begins to dissipate the resistance. It really begins to be less of you being chased by your shadows and you being forced to work with them, and it comes into balance. You know, and before I end this video, what I really want to say is I've been through some shadowy times, and one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is when you are able to like have constant maintenance with your shadow work, it's not as bad. Like, I want to laugh about it and I want to cry at the same time, because I literally put myself through hell running away from facing my own fears and my own, you know, angers and my grief and everything. And it didn't have to be that way. It didn't. So it's just another part of you that needs taking care of. It's just another form of being able to, you know, really take care of yourself. And everything that you do on an individual level does affect the collective, whether you see it or not, because, you know, we are all connected. We are. This is a fact of the matter. Whew. So I hope you enjoyed this little slice of my shadow work series. I will be doing way more topics. I know that this is just the tip of the iceberg. If there's anything you want to see or have questions about specifically, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will try to address them in the upcoming videos or even make like a whole topic about it. Aside from that, again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.